Hi guys, this is Tim, and I'm here to do another daily tip for you. Today, we're going to look at a little bit more about newsletters. A lot of people are sending newsletters right now, so I'm going to show you a few things with newsletter design that might be helpful to you. So if you're using Inflatable Office or Event Office, you're going to go to the email center to do this. I've already filtered on newsletter just so I can see what newsletters I have here. Um, and any newsletter program is going to be similar to this. There are a few things that you can probably do with ours that you won't be able to do with the rest of them, and vice versa. So um, some of the things that you really need to know when you're doing newsletters in here is, the first thing you'll probably want to do is not check this box until you're absolutely sure you want to send it out, because once you do that, our system will probably be sending it out as soon as you save. So you want to make sure that you're ready for that. So you're going to name it, and this is just a name to keep, just so you can help find it. So description, same sort of thing. It's just for you to help figure out, um, what it is that you're sending, and so that you can find it later and remember what you were doing there. You can set a start sending date. So if you do want to make it active to start with, if you push this date forward, then you're not it's not going to send it immediately. It's going to wait till it hits that date and time. Um, some of the more important things about sending a newsletter that I wanted to go over today is it's really based a lot upon how we as humans have started to use email and deal with email, because we get so many emails. The first thing that's important there is the subject. So if the subject of the email is not very interesting or doesn't seem like it's applicable to us, we're going to skip that email. So it's so important that whatever you do for your subject, it catches people's eyes. So something like that, it kind of entices people to look at it. If you're going to do a newsletter, a lot of people will do a newsletter and they'll try to make it all proper, and a lot of times those just get ignored anymore because so many of those are going out. So if I were to make something like this, that's very generic, maybe it's descriptive of your newsletter, but it's just not exciting, um, you're not going to get as much interest. But if you were to put something like, even if you use the word specials and stuff like that, sometimes that doesn't get you anywhere anymore. You almost need to do something like this. Just something that's gonna get their attention. The other thing that you can also do in our system is use variables for to like actually add in more personalized things. There's a link down here in the help section that gives you a list of all of the ones that we offer. So you can see all these variables will correspond with something, that data that we have on the customer already. So in this case, maybe I want to put their first name up here, so I can put their first name up here, and that way it'll actually have their name in the subject, which a lot of times that can be useful too. Again, a lot of these things, these good practices, as spammers are doing it, they're doing these things as well if possible. And you always have to be changing the way you're doing this, because once it becomes common, people then start to ignore it. It's really when something's different that they'll pay more attention to it. So next thing, after you do the subject, you get a good subject set up for your newsletter, you're looking at your content. And again, some people will take a lot of time to build a lot of content in with images and tables and all sorts of different things. And let's go back here. And in general, um, they look really nice when they're done. They look like a magazine article or something, but people tend to ignore that stuff. For one, they can be really, really busy, and it's hard to know what you should give your attention to. So you tend to not give any attention to anything. Uh, so you want to be really cautious about doing that. And in fact, some of our best performing emails don't include a picture at all. I'll just push that down. Sometimes it's just text, so it makes it look like it's a little more personal. That's kind of creepy. So you are interested in our rentals, you know. Something like that. That's probably not the best thing to do, but I'm doing this on the fly here. But doing something like that and then putting your name down there, sometimes that's kind of the best newsletter you can send out. I get wanting to put pictures in and wanting to look professional and everything else. I think the thing that you have to remember here in this case is you don't want to have a big picture at the top of the newsletter that takes up all of the preview pane of the email. Because when people look at an email, they first look at the subject. They might look at who it's from to decide if they want to even look at the email. Once they look at the email, they're not going to scroll in the email. They're not going to look around in the email. They're going to look at the first thing that's presented to them. So it's so important. It's very, very important to have that first thing be what you're trying to get across to them. That has to be your message. They may not look anywhere else in that email. They may just glance at that and move on. So that needs to be your message, and that needs to be the thing that draws them in. So a lot of times what you want to do is put in some sort of call to action. So you want to get something in there that's going to, you have a purpose to sending this email, right? So you want to have something in there that's going to get them to act on this email. So maybe you want them to click something. So if I were going to do it in Inflatable Office, if I put in this quote URL variable, it's going to take them to my page that they can order from on my website when I send this. So that's a pretty, good sort of technique, is to get them to click something and go and do something or look at a page. You could just want them to reply to you. Maybe in the case of building like a little text email only, then that would be an instance where they would just reply to you. That would maybe be your goal. And when you set up these goals, you then want to measure them as well. And so in our system, we'll show you stats here. Obviously, there's nothing here for this email because we haven't sent it out yet. But we'll show you newsletter stats. It'll show you, like, as best as we can, whether they looked at it or opened it or clicked on different things. So, and in fact, our CRM module will give you a lot of information about their clicks on your emails, because everything you put in your email, we actually put like a little click tracker on top of it, so that anytime they click those links, it first alerts us before it goes to those links. That way you can track those sort of things. So I'm going to go ahead and send a test on this. So this is another thing that you want to do after you've built your email and you've got your content in here. You've built some sort of call to action, and you feel like it's going to perform well. One of the things you might want to do is try testing to see whether it's going to be spammy and whether it's going to get through. So this is a nice tool that's out there. It's called mailtester.com. I like to use it a lot. Whenever someone says, hey, we're having trouble getting email delivered, I'll look at this a lot of times. What you can do is you can just copy this email address that it loads with. It's just a random email address. You can paste it in here, and you can say, I want to send a test. Okay, so this is useful just to send a test to yourself as well, so you can kind of see what it's going to look like if the links work properly and so forth. So now once you've done that, you can just click here to check your score, and what it's going to do is, as long as we sent the email, it's going to pull it up and it's going to give us an idea of how good of an email it is and how likely it is to be caught by any sort of spam catching. So it'll give you an overall score. 8.6 out of 10 is really good. we didn't really have a very good email setup there. So, you know, I'm sure there would be other issues if we were to put more content into that email. But I guess it kind of shows you, you know, what sort of content it's looking for when it's doing that sort of stuff. So you can click on any of these and it's going to give you more information about it. Anyone that has a checkbox like this, it means it's basically pretty good. This is where we lost all of our points right here. So we could look in here and we could see what are some different things that that we could do to improve our email delivery. Some of these things are a lot more complicated. Like this, you know, is talking about some server settings that you can set up that make sure that your delivery of your email is better. These are not bad things to do. These are things you could look at for sure, but you want to look at the weight of these too. So that's only 0.1. So the biggest one is this right here. So you can see it says HTML image only. Basically, we put a really big image in and we didn't have much text in there. So we didn't get very good delivery. So let's see what happens when we put a bunch more text in here. And I'm just gonna put a bunch of stuff in here just so I can see if I can get it to make a change for you. So let's go ahead and give it another try here. And I think for this tool we actually have to go back and redo it here. So let's see. Well, let me refresh it. Let's go. Yeah, let's go ahead and go back and see if we can just send it and then refresh it. So there's a chance here. Oh, okay, that did work. So I've never done it like that before. So, okay, so now we're up to 9.2. So you can see that, you know, we did some work putting more text in there. It still wants more text, but we've, you know, improved our score because we were able to put some more text in it. So anyway, that's what I wanted to go over with you guys today, is just to look at some of these newsletters and make sure that you're sending newsletters that are going to be things that are interesting to people, that they're actually going to look at, that they're going to perform some sort of action, and that will achieve your goal. All those things are things that you need to think about. Maybe your goal is just to get something out there to show people that you're still around and you're a professional company, and maybe in that case you would send a nice formatted email and you don't really care if they click on it or get very far through it. You just want to look professional. But in most cases, when you're sending a newsletter out, you're trying to get them to do something because you're trying to get them to purchase or rent or perform some sort of action so that you can later capitalize on. So anyway, thanks guys for watching the video today. This is Tim with Inflatable Office and Event Office, and we've got some really good stuff coming up this week. Some more website stuff, so keep posted, okay?